So, welcome to the show, Steve. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. My name is Steve Humble, and I am the president and founder of a company called Creative Home Engineering that specializes in making secret passageway doors and also other types of high security doors and just unique home features.
Very cool. So, that sounds like just an awesome job to have. I need to know what your origin story is. How did you get into the business of making secret passageways?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it is a lot of fun. And it's a long sordid tale, but I'll abbreviate it as much as I can. So I got a degree in mechanical engineering, and I never thought I would be doing this for a living. But as a young engineer, I rented a big house with a bunch of my friends, and we had rooms that we weren't even using. And I have always been a big fan of all the spy movies that have the secret passageways in them. And I took a job doing some robotics stuff. And so I was making things move. And I thought to myself, I could build a secret passageway just like the ones I've seen in the movies for the house that I'm living in now. And so that kind of got the wheels turning. But of course, I was renting that house. I wasn't going to put a bunch of my own like sweat into making it awesome. And then I thought, well, maybe there's an opportunity to build secret doors for people who actually own their own houses. And so I started taking builders and architects out to lunch and sort of pitching the idea to them to see if they thought it could have legs. And I got really, really positive feedback. And so eventually I decided to quit my job. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. I moved back to Arizona because that's where my parents were living and I could live rent free. And I had about 5 grand saved up, which I used to buy a laptop. And I made kind of a hokey website and let it be known that I was building secret passageways for people. And I was fortunate that I had a friend at the time that was building his own house, and he allowed me to build a couple secret doors for it. And so as soon as that was done, I called the newspaper and I said, "Hey, I've got this interesting business. Would you like to run a feature on it?" And they said yes. And so the thing kind of snowballed organically. I was at this time I was very fresh faced. I think I was 23, and so I felt very much like an imposter. I started getting
Mhm.
calls from people who were building, $30 million houses, and they wanted secret doors for them. So that there was a lot to learn in the early days as I kind of built a business out of it. But it grew and grew, and that was 22 years ago.
Man, that's really cool. You just went all in on your dream. You did the research, and you're like, "All right, I'm going to give this a shot." I respect that, man. I really do.
Well, thank you very much. I will tell you, in hindsight, it seemed like it was going to be a slam dunk, but at the
Hmm.
time, it was very much a gamble. In
Hmm.
fact, I told people, including my family members, like, I'm going to start this secret passageway business. And about half the people said, "Oh, that's a great idea. I totally would want one for my house." And the other half would say, "Well, who would want that in their house?" So there was no telling which way it was going to go.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure. Because yeah, that's a different thing. To say, I want to put a secret passageway in my house. I think everybody, of my opinion, I would have been one of those people who was like, "Yeah, this is great," because I would want a secret passageway in my house. I think that's something that would be just really cool to have. But let me say, you have there's a lot of fun in your job, but there's a serious side to this business too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So first of all, my clientele is typically quite high end, although we're changing that. We have some new products that I can tell you about that are designed for more middle class people. But from the beginning, it was very high end clientele, and so they're very demanding people, and they have a right to be. They're paying a lot of money for what they're getting from us, but they have legitimate safety concerns. They call me up daily, even to this day, and they say, "Okay, well, I mean, yesterday I had a conversation with a person who had 3 kidnapping attempts because they're a high profile person, like this is serious business." And so
Okay.
that's a lot of pressure for our firm we have to build a secret door that is good enough that it's going to fool somebody who is attempting to kidnap my client. And that's a powerful motivator for us to really do a great job.
Right. So you're not only making just a secret passageway to get into like somebody's movie room, that sort of thing. You were also making like safe rooms for people as well.
Yeah, that's right. So we definitely do have clients that are interested in fun stuff, kids' playrooms, things like that. But that's probably only 25% of our clientele. The good three quarters are people that have a legitimate security purpose. Sometimes that's a place to store valuables, and sometimes that's a place to go in case of a home invasion.
Right. Kind of walk me through like the safe room scenario. What is it that people need to know and understand about these rooms, and how do you make that vision come true?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a big question. Um,
Sorry.
so yeah, the first thing that I kind of touch on is that if you're going to get a safe to store valuables, you might as well also put a neon sign above the safe that says, "This is where I keep my valuables." So somebody that breaks into your house is going to go straight for that. And when you go to the store to look at safes, the salesman is going to be like, "Yeah, no one's getting into this, no one's getting into that." But really, it's not true. Like, you can go onto YouTube and search for how to break into a safe, and there's all kinds of people teaching you how to do it. It can be done in like 5 minutes, even
Mhm.
with a really good safe. So when you go out of town, you're really quite vulnerable if you just have a safe and the safe is out in the open. And so part of my job is to kind of educate people as to what their actual risk is, and to present options for how they can better protect themselves and their property. And so in the early stages, some people already know exactly what they want, or they've seen our website, and those are easy ones in the initial stages. But most people don't. Most people are like, I need to up my protection somehow. And so we'll usually either do a FaceTime call, or I'll go visit their property, or they'll email me a set of plans and some photographs. And we'll just talk about where in the house could a potential security area be, off of what room. Should we subdivide the master walk-in closet, or should we convert that old disused gym into a secret room, or should we try to recover the attic space, or whatever? So we'll talk about where the space is, and then we'll talk about what kind of camouflage works in that space. If the secret space is off the kitchen, then we're looking at maybe pantry cupboards. That's not going to fly if it's in the library. In that case, we're looking at bookcases, or if it's in the closet, we might be looking at shoe racks or full length mirrors. So we'll talk about the camouflage methods, and then we talk about the security options and the features, and do they need motorization? Do they need it to be bulletproof? What's their budget? And we'll get them a cost proposal, and they approve it, and then we build it. When it's all done, we photograph it, video it, we test it thoroughly at our facility in Arizona where we built the doors, and then we put them in a big crate, and we ship them out to wherever in the world they're going to be installed.
I was actually wondering how you did that. So you build it in Arizona and then you ship it. Excuse me. And so either somebody else is doing the install or you're doing the install. I didn't know if like you came in and you just took over somebody's house for a week or how you did it. So let me ask you this. Why do people want secret passages in the first place? What do you think draws people to that?
I have found that even the most high security clients, they're still excited by the James Bond aspect. I've had a lot of fun interactions with really high profile people, that I've seen on TV or whatever. And it's cool to just get to meet them. And as excited as I am to meet them, they're geeking out about me and the stuff that we do. They're more excited about us. And that I always enjoy. And it's also really fun to see somebody's reaction when they see their secret door for the first time. It's very, very gratifying. Especially, I mean, we pride ourselves on doing a very good job. And so when they see it for that first time and they're impressed, it exceeds their expectations. That is really kind of what drives me to get up in the morning sometimes. So to answer your question, Part of it is just the cool factor of having a secret door in their house. They've been dreaming about one. They've seen the same movies. They want what they've seen in the movies in their own house. But as I mentioned before, um, some of those people that like cool stuff also have multiple homes. They have very valuable collections. They keep guns. They're famous, and so they've had threats on their life or whatever. And so I don't have to do a lot of sales to convince those people to invest in their safety. They're really interested in doing that on their own.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. So you talked about movies here just a little while ago. What's a fun secret door from a movie that you really liked, that's really just stuck in your head?
That great question. So there are so many. Like I even when I started this business, I did not realize how many movies have secret passageways. And now that I'm in it, of course, like every movie I watch, if it's got a secret door, I'm tuned into that, right? And I kind of tuck it away in my head in case I want to try to offer something like that to a client. It feels like half of all movies have a secret door in them. It's less than that, obviously, but there's so many. A couple of my favorites. One favorite of mine is the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade rotating fireplace. If you recall, they're like tied up in the
Yep.
fireplace and it rotates, and then they're in like the Nazi control room. That was one of the ones that I thought when I started the business, I'm going to build that for people because you could not get that. Like, it didn't
Mhm.
matter how much money you had. This is back in 2004, I guess. You couldn't you could not get that. Nobody could build that for you. And so I thought, well, I'm a mechanical engineer. I can build that for people. And so I have built one of those. In fact, I've built many of them, and I put one actually in my own home. So that gives you an idea of how much I love that concept. But there's a lot of other movies too. One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called The Saint with Val
Mhm.
Kilmer.
Mhm.
Um, Great film. There's a part in there where they're in some Russian apartment block and the bad guys are chasing them, and there's a secret door built into a it's like a dresser, and they open up the dresser and they go into the crawl space and hide from the bad guys. Again, as soon as I see a movie that's got one that I like, I usually build one either for myself or for our showroom, or I'll sell a client on building one. It's pretty easy to do.
That's really cool. So you're telling me you have an Indiana Jones fireplace secret passage in your own house?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So the one in my house, so I have this. It's like a entry foyer kind of, and I've got a big stone fireplace there, and above the fireplace there is a mounted stag. It's like a
Mhm.
reindeer, but it's not an actual reindeer. Like it's not taxidermy. My wife found it on Etsy or something. It's made out of brass, and the reindeer is wearing glasses and smoking a pipe. And so it's just kind of a quirky, funny thing.
Yeah, I
But
like
when we
that.
saw it, we both thought it was a hilarious thing, and so we wanted to put it in our house. And so I made it so that when you reach up, you can push on the button inside the pipe. Like you reach into where the smoke would come out of the pipe, and there's a button in there, and then the fireplace opens up, and there's a little balcony back there, and there's a rope, and you grab the rope and you step off the balcony, and it takes you down. There's a descender, it's called an auto belay. You see them at the rock gym or whatever. It slowly descends you down into the basement.
Wow, that is really cool, man. That is really cool. So, you have a secret passage in your house and it goes into a gym. What are people using their secret passages for? What are you seeing most people do?
Well, like I said, there's about 25% that are just for fun. Those are kids' playrooms, secret smoking rooms, poker rooms, man caves, um, things like that. Again, the lion's share are high security, and those are split. I'm going to say most, probably of the remaining percentage, most are interested in storing valuables or guns. Um, there are certainly people who want a place to go in case of a home invasion. A lot of people, live in maybe not the greatest neighborhood, or They live in a place where the police have a slow response time.
Mhm.
And so, like, in fact, actually, even if you live in a place where the police have a great response time, say it's like 4 minutes, that's like way above average, right? That would be a
Mhm.
really fast
It is.
response time. If somebody breaks into your house, you're really going to wait 4 minutes in the house with the bad guys? 4 minutes is an eternity in that
Yeah.
situation, right?
Yeah.
You don't have 4 minutes. You need a place to go in 15 seconds. And so, um, people that are really serious about protecting their family, especially, a lot of my clients travel. They're worried that, like, what happens if somebody breaks into their house while I'm away? What are my kids going to do? Where's my wife going to go? It gives them a lot of peace of mind to be able to go to some place in 15 seconds and know that that guy's not going to find the room. He's not going to know the room exists, let alone try to attack it. And if he does try to attack it, most of our doors, if not all of our doors that are for panic room clients, are built like vault doors. So
Mhm.
it's going to take somebody, a half hour or more, even with tools, to be able to breach that door. And that's enough to give them that peace of mind.
I know you have a lot of clients that you can't talk about and things that you can't say. But tell me about a secret passageway that you've built that really kind of stands out to you.
I love working for all my clients. Like, it's fun to get to know them, but there are a few that were kind of dream projects. And those for me are the ones where the client comes to me. Naturally, they've got a huge budget and a huge appetite for secret doors, and they're excited. They're like I said, they're geeking out about secret doors, and then they're like, "Let's do it. I want my house to be the most tricked out house that you can do." And so one of those was a client that was like one of those hedge fund manager guys, and he had this incredible house, and he was already building it to have a bunker that was 20,000 square feet. Just the bunker was
Wow.
20,000. So this
Wow.
is an palatial property. And so it was kind of like open budget. We did 8 or 9 secret doors for them. And some of them, they were just really incredible ones. Like, it was very well appointed. And so when you went into the bunker area, he didn't want it to feel like a bunker. He wanted it to continue feeling like a palace, like the rest of the house.
Mhm.
So we had to camouflage the camouflage. It was like, we built a secret door that was big enough that you could drive a vehicle through it. And that particular one was disguised as a bookcase, but it was so large that we had to motorize all the individual trims around the bookcase. So it's like when you hit the secret switch, but first the crown molding retracts and it's motorized, and the baseboard comes up and it's motorized, and the fluted pilasters come in and move so that they're all of those pieces could seal up tightly up against the wall, but yet it could open and be this huge, beautiful entry point into the bunker area. So that was a cool project. Part of the reason it was cool is just because, um, I I was told by one of the other contractors that was in charge of the bunker, like, he was in charge of, like, more of the structural elements of the walls and stuff. And he told me this is the finest privately owned bunker in the world. And it showed. It was incredible. So that was a really amazing project. I did one not too long ago that was for a client that, again, it was a really big budget client. And what I loved about it is the the client himself. He was like a kid. He was like, what would a 12-year-old do if you gave him $50 million to build a house? Like, he was doing all of that, all of the fun stuff. And we made his house just absolutely incredible.
Very cool. That's some fun stuff, man. So, in your opinion, what makes a good hidden door?
Well, the number one thing, obviously, is great camouflage,
Mm.
which is harder than you think. Like, long before I was ever even born, people were building secret doors. And whenever I find out about one that existed outside of my company, I'll try to weasel my way in. Yeah, I've traveled around the world, visited castles, everywhere I could go. And my forgive me if this sounds self-serving, but the majority of them are really poor. Especially the
Mhm.
older ones. They just like they don't didn't have the sophistication required to actually
Sure.
fool somebody. And even today, this is a huge mistake that actually many of my clients have made, which is they they have maybe a top tier cabinet shop and they ask the cabinet shop, "Can you build a secret door that does this?" Cabinet shop does not want to say no.
Mhm.
It reflects poorly on them. Plus, they want that business, so they say yes, and they end up putting like a bookcase on a set of gate hinges, and it's rickety. It feels rickety. It doesn't close right. It's not adjustable. It carves an arc into the floor. There's light penetration. Turns out that making secret doors is way more of an engineering project than people understand. And it even took us, we've built thousands of these things now. And I look back to the ones that we built in our first couple of years of existence. I was proud of them at the time, but now I'm not proud of them at all. Like we have come a long way in making secret doors. And that's something that just you can only do when you've made thousands of examples and learned what works and what doesn't work. But now our secret doors are very sophisticated. They have uh, 5-axis adjustability so that inevitably when the humidity changes and the foundation settles, that the secret door is not going to rub. You can insert a tool into a hidden little hole on the underside and you can look at the top right corner and you can say, oh, that needs to come forward by 1/16 of an inch and it needs to go up by 1/8 of an inch. You can make all of those adjustments on the fly so that you can have really, really great camouflage for many, many years. Also, back to the original question, what makes a great secret door? There has to be some thought and design that go into it, which is why um, I feel like CAD is just an indispensable tool. The ability to design it up. I can't tell you how many secret doors I've been to where you look at it and you're like, that thing's not symmetrical. Like little things like that that would drive me batshit crazy. And as a customer, my customers would never accept it. But those exist all over the place.
Hmm.
It's like so many. I've been in $50 million houses where they hired me to do a secret door or two, and then they hired somebody else. Again, it's self-serving, but I look at the other secret door and it's like, this is a $50 million house. There is an arc in your fancy pants floor that reveals that there is a secret door there. It's absolutely terrible. And so many people call me it's kind of a sob story I deal with a few times a week. The people are like, I invested in this. It's rickety. It doesn't close properly. Can you fix it? And invariably the answer is, I'm so sorry, but I can't. It just wasn't
Mhm.
designed to do what it's supposed to do. And so you have to tear it out. I can build a new one for you that will be fantastic, but there's not much I can do when you already have a bad one.
Right. Yeah, that's gotta be rough for somebody. I know you've talked a lot about, building these really cool projects and going to castles and seeing these things. I don't have a castle. I don't have a $50 million home. Can somebody like me who just lives in a typical suburban house, can I have a secret door?
Yeah. Yeah. So for the first 10 or 12 years of our company's existence, my answer to that question would have been, I'm so sorry. I
Hmm.
cannot, because there's so much time that goes into each individual one. Literally, people have no idea. It's like hundreds of hours just into the development of each project. And we're dealing with designers and architects and emails and meetings and just to get one project done, it just can't be done for years. It could not be done uh, on a middle class budget. However, during that entire time period where I was having to tell people, I'm so sorry, I can't do it, I was kind of thinking about ways that, man, would I be able to ever say yes to this? And the way that we have figured out how to do it is we have come up with some standard designs. They are pre-designed secret doors. So I don't have to not I love talking with clients, but it's costly because I only have so much time, right? So
Right.
in order to make it affordable, I have these models, set models. And as long as you're a little bit flexible about some things, then you can order one of these pre-designed models and we can just make them so much faster. And we have tooled up. So we bought, robotic equipment, and we've created programs to run the robots so that we can crank out one of these pre-designed secret doors in a very short period of time. And so we have secret doors right now that cost only $1,000. And that is, I mean, hopefully just about anybody could be able to, and not only are they affordable, but we have not decreased the quality. Like the
Mhm.
quality is fantastic on these $1,000 secret doors, and not all of them are $1,000. We have some pre-designed models that are 2,500, $3,500, but all of them are going to have really fantastic camouflage. They all have great adjustability so that they will last a really, really long time, and they look fantastic. They're great secret doors.
Very cool. So I'm really curious now. What do these secret doors look like in, just like at my typical house? If I were gonna buy one of these, what kind of secret door am I looking at?
So if we're limiting our conversation to the pre-designed ones,
Mhm.
the more affordable ones, we have kind of two main product families. We'll go three families actually. So the first product family is a secret door that looks kind of like a full length mirror when it's in the closed position. I say kind of like because it doesn't have to be a mirror. It could be a piece of art instead of glass, or it could be a cork board or a whiteboard or a chalkboard, or it could be like a slat wall system where you have hooks, and you put you're hanging your broom or your vacuum on it, whatever. But the aspect ratio and general idea is it kind of starts life as a full length mirror. So that's one product family. The other product family is something that looks kind of like a bookcase. And that
Mhm.
could be a bookcase, but it could also be a curio cabinet or a linen cupboard or a shoe rack or a wine cabinet. But the idea is kind of the same. It's like give or take 10 inches deep and 3 feet wide and 8 feet tall, although you can adjust the dimensions. So when we launched this, by the way, we didn't want to dilute our brand. We've got this really high end brand that we've been building for years, which is creative home engineering. And we were afraid just that if we started selling secret doors that were more budget conscious, that it
Mhm.
would put a bad taste in the mouth of our high end clients. So we set up a separate brand, which is called Hidden Door Store, and it has a separate website, which is hiddendoorstore.com. And if somebody's interested, they can go there. There's images, they can click on the image that they like, and there's a configurator tool. So it will allow them to select the height and the width within boundaries, and they can select, like, do they want cabinet doors and what species, what finish. They just go down the list. Access control, so like what's the clever secret switch? Do they want it to open when they pull a book, or do they want a fingerprint scan or something like that? They go through and make all their selections, and it spits out a price, and they can just buy it right online with a credit card. So the second family was the things that look like a bookcase. And then the third one I would say is they're not actually secret doors at all. They are vault doors that
Mm.
look like regular doors. A lot of people, they've come to us for a few secret doors, and they're like, well, now I also want my front door to be high security, but
Mhm.
I don't want a secret front door. I just want a high security front door. Or they have a maybe the room that will become their vault room is they just want the door to look like all the other doors in the house. They don't want it
Sure.
to
Right.
safe or not and be made out of metal. And so we started providing clients with vault doors with all the multi-point perimeter locking deadbolts that you would expect from a vault door and bulletproof and everything. But when it's closed, you can't tell. We put a skin on it that matches the skin of all the other raised panel doors that you have in your house. So that those are like the three main categories of pre-designed doors.
Yeah, I like the one that you have. It's a door, but it's a high security door, and you don't realize that. I think that's a it's a great thing to be doing. So you talked a little a minute ago about the triggers for the secret door. You said like you have a pipe that you can press a button and that opens up your fireplace or a fingerprint scanner. What are some of the other cool things that people can use to open up a secret room?
So the sky's the limit. And this really is my favorite part of the job. If you've ever seen it in a movie, I guarantee I've already made a secret door that has that clever access control device. Um, so I'll just rattle off a few of my favorites. So I like the old fashioned book switch, honestly. You get to choose your favorite book. We'll put a wireless transmitter in it so that when you tilt the book, that's what causes it to open. So it could go on any shelf, or you could take it into the secret room with you. Um, Again, you get to pick the title, and also we can make it so that instead of tilting the book, you open it up, and there's an alphanumeric keypad inside, and you enter the combination. That way, you have a little bit better access control. Um, Hidden fingerprint scanners we do all the time. Hidden iris scanners. I like the maps. We do a lot with a
Mhm.
map, like somebody, maybe there's a particular city where they got married, or I had a client once that adopted a kid from some country, and we made it so that when you push on that spot on the map, that opens the secret door. Um, I have one in my own house where you play a sequence of notes on my piano, and one of my secret doors opens. And of course, in mine, it's the James Bond riff, dun, dun,
Nice.
remember? You play the notes, and the secret door opens. I also have one. I have 5 secret doors in my house. I have one where you move uh, a chess, several chess pieces to certain spots on the chessboard, and when they're all in the correct spots, the secret door opens. Sometimes clients come to me and they've got like an interest. They have a hobby. They
Mhm.
collect a thing, and they'll tell us what their collection is, and we will be thrilled to make a secret switch that is particular to their interest. We do a lot for like secret bars or man caves. And
Mhm.
so a popular one is like a particular bottle of bourbon or something where you tilt the bottle or press on the cork or so, however the client wants it to be. If you can think of it, tell us about it. We will make a secret switch that does that for you.
Man, that is awesome. Because I just assumed that it was always some lever or something like that. Like with the book, you tilt it, it pulls a string, that sort of thing. But you're telling me that I can actually take the book off the shelf and take it into the room with me. That's really cool.
Yeah, and a lot of clients too, they initially contact me wanting something mechanical because
Mhm.
it's in their head that mechanical is more
Right.
reliable, and we can certainly build a mechanical thing for them. Like I can build a book where there is a cable and it goes around a pulley, but that is less reliable than electronics.
Hmm.
Like mechanical stuff breaks all the time. It's not more reliable, and also it's less sophisticated, less secure. We can't control it as easily. You can't control it remotely. I mean, you think in the case of a book, anybody that ransacks the shelves is going to immediately see that this book is screwed down, and they're going to immediately pull on it, right? It's going to get them into the secret room. Whereas, and also it's tricky to have a high security feature that is activated by a string that you pull, basically. Like that's
Mhm.
not very high secure. So we often favor electronics where we can have electric locks that and we can have multiple redundant electric locks, so there's not a security vulnerability. We can have a battery backup, so you're not dependent on the grid. We can even have a mechanical override so that if the electric system fails, there's an alternative way that maybe is not as fast or convenient, but you can always use it. Um, but the electric system, like I said, we've done this now. Uh, I think last count we had over 5,000 secret doors out in the field, and we have done it many times, many ways, and some ways work better than other ways. And so I will not be tight-lipped. If you become a customer of mine, I will let you know which ways are the best ways.
Yeah, I kind of want to win the lottery now so I can have you one, get a better house, but two, put a couple of secret passages in it for me. That sounds awesome. So for people who are interested in knowing more about you, where can they find you and your work?
Yeah, great. So if you think that you're interested in the most bang for your buck, you want one of our pre-designed secret doors, then go to hiddendoorstore.com and you'll see all of our standard models. However, if you know what you want and you feel like you've got the budget, you're going to get the thing that you want, then I would advise you to go to hiddenpassageway.com, Passageway singular, hiddenpassageway.com, and you can see all kinds of videos and galleries of past projects, and that'll help get your creative juices flowing. You won't see any prices on that site because it's all custom. That
Mhm.
you'll go there, you'll read up on us, and then you'll call me or send me an email, and I'll speak to you directly, and we'll talk about your project, and we'll get the information required for a cost proposal for you.
Very cool, man. Steve, thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been a lot of fun, and you've blown my mind in a couple of areas. This has just been great, man.
Well, I'm so grateful to you for having me on and helping spread the good word of secret passageways. And yeah, let's do it again sometime whenever. I'd love to talk to you.